Fine.
Yeah.
So this is Belvedere Park. There are about 300 flats, each about 1800 square feet. Now proudly processes 130 kgs of wet waste every day.
Anita, of course, they are the front bearers. How did they come to know what to do and how did you address them,
So we
train
had
them?
workshops for them initially, train them what goes into the dry waste and what goes into the wet waste, and then of course repeatedly we had to keep reminding them. I had even followed them up from floor to floor while they're picking up garbage at homes. So yeah, continuous support and regular trainings. I think that has worked.
How many normal housekeeping staff have you got?
10.
So the garbage man comes, rings the bell to call the occupant outside. This is Anita, one of the champions of the waste management at Belvedere Park. So Anita will just let us know a bit about the background of this waste management and the segregation that she has been encouraging people to do. Anita.
Hi. So segregation was the most important thing. So we started encouraging people and having workshops for people to tell them how to segregate what goes into what bin. Finally, we had to design this trolley to enable the housekeeping staff to carry both the bins for collection. So we put the dry waste into this bin, which does not need a liner at all. But the wet waste bin has a liner. That's for the big bin. But at the household level, we are encouraging residents not to line their bins because it's very easy to empty the wet waste directly.
So Anita, how did you address the people who were not following or track them or something like that? I think you had a logbook.
Yeah, so we maintained this logbook where the housekeeping staff would make a note of the flat numbers. You can see the flat numbers here. Flat numbers of those people who weren't segregating properly, even the wet and dry. So, and then he would come and inform me or anybody else who was taking care of this process, and we would talk to them personally, call them up and talk to them personally, go to their homes and explain it to them.
And that worked?
Yes, it worked, but every time we have new residents come in, so the same thing happens. It's an ongoing process.
Thank you. For e-waste also, yeah, Anita, how do we address the e-waste here?
So we collect e-waste and encourage residents to drop their e-waste in this red bin on a regular basis, and we also have e-waste drives conducted about every 2 months or so from our e-waste recycler known as Earth Sense. This has been happening even before COVID, so that has been a regular thing here, and most people drop their e-waste stuff here. They are encouraged to keep their e-waste garbage at homes in a separate cardboard box. That's the right way to maintain it. And so we have tube lights and everything, electronic and electrical waste.
Thank you. So, yeah, Anita, what is this?
So this big pile that you see is the dry waste collected from our society. Now dry waste disposal continues to be a big problem. I mean, there are so many categories of waste, and nowadays packaging material is the main component of dry waste material. So our dry waste, sorry, I'll have to stop. Dry waste what is it? I'll start. So our dry waste, authorized dry waste collector, he comes by and he further segregates it into about 5-6 categories, cartons and cardboards and plastics and good quality plastics, etc. He segregates them and then he takes them.
And Anita, after segregating and taking it, what does he do with it?
So he takes it to his recycling unit for further recycling.
Oh, okay. So this is the start of a composting plant. This place where you see this table is where the person segregates the wet waste, and this is the shredder in which he crushes the wet waste which has been there. After shredding it, he will be taking it out and putting it into the composting bins, which we will just see. So this is our composting plant, which basically comprises of composting pits in which the waste that we shred is put inside the bins and microbes are added to expedite their deterioration into fertilizer. This is one of the bins that we've got. And when you open it also, you see I'm standing next to it. Of course, there will be a bit of smell, but it is not such a stench that I have to move away or something like that. All these bins periodically are being filled. It is not that one full bin is made and then the second one will be done. It is, maybe 10-20% of one bin which is done, then the second one, then third one. Then we come back to the first one and keep on filling it. And while this is being done, it is also being churned periodically to not only keep on piling on it, but churning it, which betters the decomposition of it. हॉर्टिकल्चर वेस्ट कैसे हम लोग एड्रेस कर रहे हैं?
So what we are doing is, in the shredder we shred the leaves and the other horticulture waste into teeny pieces. Then we dig it up at a place which is not being regularly used, and we put the leaf waste in addition with the mud, etc. And then we just cover it up. We have
इसके नीचे is the pit.
Yes, if you can see, there are few places where the level is down. This 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have around 4 to 5 pits here where we have our leaf waste, and then it is covered. Now the grass is coming on top of it.
And of course, we now come to the most important aspect of the funding of the whole project. So you see, we have about 12-14 bins which combined are able to process the wet waste that we generate, which is about 150 kgs per day. So these 10-12 bins are more than enough, which have been taking on the whole of the wet waste problem of ours and converting it into this fertilizers. The total cost of this, building the pits, making the shed that was required, the drainage of the leachate we'll just discuss, the shredder room that we saw, buying the shredder, the whole project cost was about 8 odd lakh rupees, which was the capital cost. If we take the running cost, electricity is hardly anything, a fan and light or something like that, and the shredder is also maximum required for about 20 minutes a day or maybe 30 minutes a day at 2 horsepower of a machine of a motor. That's hardly any electricity cost. The monthly cost that the vendor charges, which is where he provides the manpower to segregate the waste, put it into the composting bin, add the microbes, churn it periodically, when it is dry, to when it has been decomposted, to take it out and dry it, and finally make it into usable fertilizer. The cost of that to us is about 32,000 rupees per month, which we pay to the vendor. The identification of the vendor, of course, we saw that he's the person who was providing it at a couple of other condominiums, which is right now Green Bandhu, and uh, that is we just took a feedback of how he was performing other places, and we took him on. Of course, it is not a very technical aspect to be done, but it is better that these people who have been doing it. Even if I hire my own person, I will still be required to pay the minimum wages and everything else, which would be, I think, semi-skilled. Minimum 20,000 rupees is what it will cost me. So right now we are continuing with this vendor, and we are pretty satisfied with that. So that was the costing aspects of that, and convincing the people in the building. Yes, you see, one is the statutory requirement. There have been cases where the waste which has been sent out illegally by the condominiums or other places, the municipality has got those dumpers, the trolleys, and taken them back and dumped them in front of the houses, just to create that awareness that please address your own waste which you are generating yourself, and don't put it onto the community to address it. So this, even socially, I would say, is a very good concept to undertake, and have the composting done in house. And right now, if you take it, yes, the dry waste is something that goes out. The horticulture waste, as you saw, we address it ourselves only. Wet waste we are composting, and we're using it as fertilizer, and using it in our horticulture uses, and extra we're also giving it to the people, and we also have an option of selling that extra fertilizer that we are purchasing here. That we are making here. So thank you, friends. We just hope any other question or things. Yes, we are always available, and that lot more many people start addressing this way. So we will not have another Bhandwari or some other or the methane gases, polluting our general environment. Thank you.